are suffering from is ideological confusion. That is, that we're not clear, we're not thinking clearly, and that we need a context within which to answer the question, is something good or bad? We assume that we have the same goals, but we never say what they are. It's time for us to think and articulate and establish our goals as Black nationalists and Pan-Africanists. We need vision, we need clarity. Otherwise, we can't answer the question, is it good for African people? Nationalist goal is self-determination. In the spirit of Delaney, Garvey, Malcolm, Amos. It is Pan-African commitment, that is the unity of African people worldwide and one Africa on the continent as a basis for African strength. So we are about building a Pan-African world order based on the principles of Ma'at, not in imitation of a European order. Ma'at as justice and truth. We need a nation concept, as Dr. Clark told us. A Black economic program, a cultural program, an independent political organization, independent Black media, independent African-centered education financed by us and controlled by us. All of this presupposes, very importantly, an African Black identity.
Oh, the dog is like barking. Calm down, dog.
You have a dog?
Oh, I'm at it's like a cousin dog. I'm babysitting. So, tip everyone. Tip everyone. Welcome to our AO podcast episode 2 of the season 2. And today we'll be speaking about what is an African hero for African people. And we're going to study the case of Colin Powell, the late Colin Powell who passed away from COVID complication, I think last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before that, too, Shaluti, don't forget we're gonna be talking about some bullshit too. So
yeah, we gotta lay down the bullshit.
You gotta air that bullshit out. So
you know the cause to have LB and Brother Tristan to help develop the discussion that we're gonna have. We have a different topic for you tonight. And the rest of the crew a little bit busy today, so shout out to Brother Omowale with the Race and Manhood podcast. Go watch him. We have Sister Wawa, our future. What she's studying, like
aerospace engineering.
Aerospace engineering. So shout out to her.
She competing with Jeff Bezos out here in these streets.
So what's that?
I said she competing with Jeff Bezos out in these streets.
yeah, and she's serious about this mission.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Right? So, shout out to her, and also Sister Tyra and Brother Maurice, also that work a lot in the background with us, but you don't see often. But when you come and meet us in Philadelphia, you'll have the chance to talk with him. How you doing?
Good. How you feeling? It's the end of the week. How you feel? How's your work week?
Yeah, the usual. So I'm ready to leave. Tristan, how you?
I'm good. I'm just ready, as always, ready for the discussion, ready to just jump into things, and you know how it is.
Yeah. All right, so we gotta deal with the bullshit first before we get.
Let's get into that now, Shanuti. This really is some bullshit, though, right?
Yeah, so, bullshit.
I'm gonna set it up for the people, and you throw them a clip. But you know what I'm saying? It's a story we pretty much are familiar with. But in Tennessee, in a county in Tennessee, there's like this one judge and like this one jailer where they're like locking up kids as young as like 5 for simple things for fighting, right? And like it's ridiculous to say the least, you know what I'm saying? But like we always say, follow the money and see what's going on. But I think there's 2 parts to it, right? The kids being traumatized, but the other part is that the people who are causing the trauma, there's no punishment or consequence for them. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Bullshit, basically.
You want me to play the video
Yeah, go ahead
so
and
that
run it.
people can have a little more background about it?
Right. Yeah.
Because like when we talk like that, sometimes people might think that it's like we bullshitting. So we want to show
Right.
them like where the bullshit comes from. Right?
Well, they about to find out.
Because like we know bullshit. Like this story is real. It's surreal, but like it's really happening here in America.
Right.
So we're gonna just watch a couple seconds.
A new investigation by
Let us know if you can hear it.
and Nashville Public Radio has uncovered an alarming pattern of arresting and detaining elementary school children in one Tennessee county. Desjardins has the story.
Rutherford County, Tennessee, has detained a record number of children, some as young as 7 years old in past years. Some were arrested for playground fights, others for cursing. In one 2016 case, 4 elementary school-age girls were detained for failing to intervene in a fight. A disproportionate number of the children involved and arrested were Black. Maribah Knight from Nashville Public Radio is the lead writer on the report, and she joins us now. Thank you so much, Maribah. The focus is on this one county, Rutherford County, and an attorney there told you at one point some 500 kids he thought had been arrested by mistake and another 1,500 detained over a point of time as part of a jailing system that seems like it was subjective. Essentially, at points, police and judge were deciding on how the kid looked or how the kid was acting in a moment, whether they would be detained. At the center of your story is the arrest of 11 children surrounding that idea of a fight, who intervened, who didn't. Can you explain exactly what happened with those kids and how?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Essentially, you set it up really well. There were 11 children in all that were arrested for watching a fight. The 2 that were actually involved in
So the rest of the story anyway, like you saw, I don't know, I think the title of the video is Tennessee Judge Jail Minor on Bogus Charge Following Playground. Something. So like you can find the video on YouTube, but like, this is the bullshit we're talking about.
Yeah. And if just real quick about the story, like if you listen to it even further, what was even crazy about the incident that she's talking about, that they arrested the children for not stopping the fight, but they didn't actually arrest the children who were in the fight, right? Like who does that? You know what I'm saying? And they were locking the kids up on they framed it in just like some illegal jargon, like it was no such thing. You know what I'm saying? So here we are again, being distracted by like a whole bunch of other stuff, and this bullshit is going on. But to make it even worse, it's affecting our children, right? Where's the story on that? Where's the outrage on that? Right? Where's our lawyers bringing this information out? So like, you know what I'm saying?
And it's important to precise, it's African kids. Like it's not like most of the kids were African kids, you know what I mean, being put in jail. And average age, I mean, like what's the youngest? She
said, I think if I'm not mistaken, 5 was
the youngest. Yeah, that's terrible. Wow. And I think that it's the judge, like she went on radio and different media, and she said that was kind of a sort of program to help kid change, something like that. But her and I think some
like the jailer, the person that was
the jailer,
right?
They were just they took
in cahoots.
Yeah, like there was like a little gang right there, where like, and I think she's been there for years. It's not like she's not like I think she's there since like maybe 2005.
She's been there for a little bit.
Yeah, she's been there for some time.
And that's the other thing, right? Like we being distracted by like a whole bunch of different stuff, but really, what I also want people to take out of this is this attack on African people in the United States, and racism. Like this is a public health issue. You know what I'm saying? Because these children are traumatized, right? Like now you have some traumatized kids who's gonna always have to sort of have somebody walk them through, You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Like, what kind of life is that? This is a public health issue. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of things going on, but I really need us to really talk about like what this looked like for us and for our children. Like, it's crazy. It's basically bullshit. And I would even go further and say that we hearing this about Tennessee. I can guarantee you we can find a similar story in all the states. You know what I'm saying? That nobody is talking about.
Yeah. All right. Now, Tristan, anything you want to add up, or we can move to the next thing we have?
The only thing I would do is probably +1 to what Sister Lydia is saying about. I think this is what's important. I think why the issue with these kinds of stories is when we think on a individual level, like if it ain't happening to me, it ain't an issue. And I think this is just one of those examples, because child kidnapping and locking up children, that's not, and especially in a historical context, especially dealing with African children, we have to be very vigilant as a community about those type of things. That's what I would kind of hone in on from what Sister LB said. But I think she said what needed to be said, really.
All right. That's so true. All right. So the next one we have here in our bullshit section, we're going to move to Haiti. And, you all heard about it. A missionary from, I think his ministry head in, I think they're based in Ohio, based Christian church.
Christian Aid Ministries out of Ohio. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have been known to be involved in some scandal for abusing kids in Haiti. And today we're hearing that one of them was kidnapped,
or some of them. I don't think it's just one person.
Okay.
I think it's a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I think within that, one of the parties is known as like a person, like there's been allegations that they're down there doing horrible things to well, let me say this, they're following the traditions of missionaries.
That's true.
They're following the traditions of missionaries, like,
yeah, that's their tradition. And like I was telling you the other day, actually, like there's I think it's in France, where like they came with a report from the Vatican or something like that. Since 1950, they have like hundreds of thousands of cases of children who have been abused by priests, right? By the Catholic Church, right? They abuse kids. They like officially, like it's a report that an investigation that was done and report to the Vatican, like something like, I mean, 100,000 of kids. Since 1950, sorry if I repeat myself, who have been abused by Christians, and that's only in France. We're not talking about different part of the world. Just in France, it was like there was a scandal, and like, and it seems to be a tradition. And those priests, like usually when they commit those crimes, they're not put in jail. They just like they displaced. They put them like in mostly remote area, where like they can do their business, and it's not gonna be heard of. You know what I mean?
But let's circle back to the missionaries, right? So that's the thing, right? So one, we're not controlling the narrative, and we have other people who are framing Haitian people as just like these out of control, quote unquote, savages, right? So where's the journalism that's supposed to be happening, the research that's happening? You know what I'm saying? Because if you read other stories, like I've done, you hear a different story, right? Like the people in Haiti, they basically knew, from what I read, they knew nobody was going to come to their rescue. So they took justice in their own hands, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see it.
So, they're in our media, they're painting them as like these horrible people that kidnap people. And it's going to be an easy story to believe because of all of what's going on in Haiti. But nobody is talking about how, again, there's this distraction in how they're framing what's going on in Haiti. So people feel like they could just go down there and do whatever they want under the radar.
Yeah.
In these instances, you had people who was like, okay, I got something for you. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, now they down there. Nobody don't want to talk about like what this particular group has been doing, and again to children. Like I need people to understand, when we have all these stories going under the radar where you are doing these indescribable things to children, listen, it's it's no, like, nobody should, it's no feeling sorry for you. Like, that's a problem. That says something about civilization, when, like, all bets is off and you doing this to children. Like, nah, no, no.
Yeah. And
Like,
like you wonder, like these people, like why are they going in Haiti? Like decide even like like they're always going with the mission of
nothing of nothing.
civilize and whatever. It's always the same mindset. They go to those places and thinking less of the local, thinking that they're bringing like the good news or something.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
some for them it's an opportunity to do like the thing they cannot do here, obviously. You know what I mean? And really, for me, like uh, missionary are unwanted in 80. 80 doesn't need missionaries. That's
They
that's
don't.
that's one thing.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like we don't see the benefit of it. So when they go over there, like it's at their own risk. I mean, I don't know the guy. I don't know the name of the person. I'm sure his family is feeling some type of ways and they're sad. That's fine. But but the name of the ministry, I mean, or the
Is
person
Christian
African
Aid Ministries.
aid ministry.
And I'm sure they're like one of like many under there.
Yeah,
So yeah, like, we really, I guess the point of these two bullshit stories, like, I would like people to take away is, like, it's not a game. Like, seriously, do your own research and take your time to judge. Like, you know what I'm saying, and really like try to get the facts and really get the perspective, because they out here making people look crazy, and
yeah,
behind it all, they out here doing some wild stuff, like, to say
yeah,
the least.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And uh, children are being harmed, and it hurts my heart that we're not talking about it, and we're not doing enough. African children are being harmed, and it's not a good look.
yeah. They don't highlight those type of news. Tristan, maybe you want to say something. I'm sorry. Me and LB, we just bouncing back and forth. We forget that you're here. We know you're a good listener. You know.
He's a great listener.
Well, what I was more thinking of with the missionary conversation, it made me think about Sentinel Island
Okay.
as well, the island
Mm-hmm.
of African people off the coast of India.
Mm-hmm.
When a missionary, I don't remember if it was a Urugu or a
I think he
Asian.
might have been.
He
I
might.
think he might have been both, like, mixed with both.
Oh,
I
so
think.
mix.
I
I'll just
think.
say mix, but
Don't
no
quote
black
me.
on either side. Uh, we're gonna get into my views on that, but I couldn't remember exactly. But this need to frame, because you can tell who's telling the story by how something is framed. So I
Right.
think when I read "Missionary Kidnapped in Haiti," I know that is the Urugu perspective
Mm-hmm.
and the perspective of those who are either ideologically or very deeply indoctrinated into that aspect of Uruguism that they cannot see it, because some African people will buy into some of these narratives. And I'll just share
Right.
a
Right.
slight personal anecdote with once I remember being in conversation with two people, unfortunately two African people, one believing that they do child sacrifices in Haiti.
Yeah.
And I
It's
remember
crazy.
I had to, two people were questioning. It's like, it's kind of one of those, but I'm like, I have to really check them. Like, it's just something in me. I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's what
Mm-hmm.
Europeans do with African children during enslavement. With and so that's what it is. It's so whatever you hear about Haitians or any other African people, it's white people projecting what they actually do, that kind of thing. So I think we should
Right.
always be aware of that type of framing, and even how some of us, who sometimes I think some people should know better, can be caught up in that perception, that Urugu perception or deception
Mm-hmm.
about a certain group of African people.
And I would also say too, Tristan, to that, like, that's a great point. But and also to that is like, y'all protecting y'all faith so much that y'all let stuff like this continue. You understand what I'm saying? So that's one part of it. But then the other part of it, like I said, in reading other stories about it, it's good that African people is starting to take, I don't even want to say justice in their own hands, but yeah, for the lack of a better term, like they taking things under control, because if they didn't do it, when was it going to stop? Who was going to be the example? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, if it meant that if they did what they had to do to stop children from being harmed, that's just what the fuck it had to be.
All right.
And that's on some bullshit that they on.
Some bullshit. Let me
Straight
bring the bullshit.
bullshit. Throw that
Yeah.
bullshit across the screen. Bullshit.
All right. So this closed the bullshit session. So we're gonna go to the main topic of today, right? We're gonna dive in. But you wanna do the announcement or you save it for later?
So, just real quick, if you could throw across the screen, we coming to you with the podcast. We want to give you more good information, but we also appreciate your donation and your love, right? So you could donate. Well, I'll say this first. Please make sure you visit us on our social media platforms, Twitter, uh, IG, Facebook. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, and also support the channel via Cash App, which is the $ AI Philly. Any donation, large or small, is appreciated. There's no us without you guys. So, let everybody know we out here.
All right. Yeah. So support us. You can come and see us on. We have our website, aiphilly.org, to know about all the events that we organizing. All right. So so the main topic that we chose for you today to discuss after the passing of Colin Powell, we thought about maybe speak about the notion of what is a hero. I mean, at least for the African people, you know what I mean? Because that's what some people, at least the majority of people in the media have highlight Colin Powell as a hero, American hero, if I can be precise, or like a noble black man, if I can say an example or something like that. So Tristan, maybe you want to lay the ground on this particular discussion.
Laying ground. What I will say is, I think to start, and I think we all discuss this, but for the obviously we discuss amongst ourselves as we're picking topics and why we do them. I think it's an important discussion to have, because with this particular issue, we all saw that within our community, even those of us who are within similar ideological circles, the amount of confusion that even exists in our circles, because we got to remember, de-whitenization is a process, an intergenerational one, if you ask me. And I think you're reminded of that when certain controversial points happen, like when you bring up, let's say, a Fidel Castro, the fact that he's a white supremacist, you can't say that to some Pan-Africanist people, right? Things like that.
That actually would be a good topic. We need to think about that. We got some things to flesh out.
That's another story for the time.
I digress.
Because I know how people get when I bring things up like that.
Yeah.
But I think the Colin Powell case, but not so much in that Castro, and I just always throw that example. But I think of the Obama effect. You can tell a lot about an African person's thinking. I'm not going to say whether it's or not, but in terms of how we're thinking politically when, I see how they respond to the mulatto overseer, Barack Obama. And I see Colin Powell in the context of the mulatto overseer. And I think that's extremely important when we're talking about what is a hero for African people. What is an African person? I think that's a question I sometimes take for granted. But also, who are we talking about when we say for African people? I think that's where the ideological differences, and also in some cases the knowledge base of the African person we're talking to has to be factored in that type of situation. That's just how I see the Colin Powell situation. I think that's the way I would approach it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hit on your fave, LV.
Well, first of all, we don't want to start lies. We don't want to do that going into the new year. You know, I appreciate our relationship and I don't want it to be based in lies. But with that said, um, with that said, I think is one of those things, and I can't take credit for this term, but I do use it. Managing the contradictions, right?
I thought that was your term.
No, see,
I
there
always,
we
I
go
was, oh,
talking
that's,
about family business on the podcast. We could talk
oh,
about that.
my bad, my bad, my bad. Go ahead.
But oh, snooty. But
I thought that was yours.
we'll talk about that later. But so I would say for so it's managing the contradictions. I don't understand if your values are rooted in a certain ideology or whatever, or you take a stance with certain people, a certain group of people, and you're in solidarity, and then you have a figure that is in direct opposition, right, and took an oath that is in direct opposition. I don't understand at that point why your sentiment would change, about that person, right? Because that person, again, like I said, violated like your values, right? You know what I'm saying? Your belief system. So what does it make you for you to be like, no, I'm good on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good on that person, right? Like, why is there a need to even speak on that? You know what I'm saying? Because to the flip side of it, we have, people that we agree with, that people don't agree with, and they don't miss a beat to say F them. Good riddance to them. You understand what I'm saying? So why is this person different? And then why would we even I like I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I don't get the need to have to comment on somebody like, yeah, I don't get it. I
Yeah,
get it, but like, yeah.
yeah, like not particularly the when I mean after after the reading I've done, and because honestly I didn't, like I did. There's a lot of things I didn't know about him that I was able to find out. But like I see him. I saw one of the things that he was doing has something that many um like you spoke about, the contradiction that you encounter with many black men, black women, African women here,
Mm-hmm.
doing who are. It looks like he has always trying to he was maybe into that American dream where like you need to succeed for yourself. You know what I mean? He wasn't somebody who was thinking in such a way where like community. That's one thing. Like he was very ambitious person who wanted to
So I
reach.
think, not to interrupt you, Shanuti,
Go
but
ahead.
I think that's what we're getting caught up in.
Yeah.
On one hand, we having this conversation. So I think you said something that's important, right?
Mhm.
Where he displays the American dream, ambitious, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the political conversation we're having as African people, right?
Mhm, mhm.
One is America recognizing who we are, right? But that doesn't mean that we are not ambitious, right? We don't have to, like, ambition and all of that doesn't have to be framed, or we don't have to only use that terminology when we're talking about being here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
my grandfather was ambitious. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did everything that he did. You know what I'm saying? Except serve
Yeah.
in the army. So that's what I'm saying about values, right? I I'm trying to articulate it, but it's just like I just feel like, when people like Colin Powell died, it's all of a sudden like confusion surfaces. It heightens to a different level on what your position is and how you understand certain things and what you're telling the people. So now I'm confused. I'm confused on like what your position is.
I mean, I Well, I was just trying to, because something I want to always recognize is like, like I like to speak about the allegory of the cavern. Um, Plato or somebody used, I think it was Plato, where like some people are kind of in a certain frame of paradigm, like it's like the mindset first, like something like the reason. And I say, if you have to see, he was an American hero, he wasn't an African hero, like he was a conservative, like, and already from that standpoint, like when you're in America, you already have like all the African American, they kind of loyal to the Democratic Party, right? So when he took that stance of being more conservative, like there's already something there that tells like, well, there's, like this little loyalty that you have just for your people that's already lost already by making that choice of being conservative. Now, like, I'm not trying to have a conservative. I don't care who's who, but like we can already see that for him, like there were more. Already it was like this idea that like I have to succeed, I have to be in a position of power to some sort already. Like that's kind of like my first take, which is like at the end, right? It doesn't matter that much, but like it already kind of tell me who the person is, and like the person, like the person. That's kind of like a further observation that I have. I think that the first thought that comes, because for African people, when we talk about being a hero, it's already to care about your own. You know what I mean? That's why I'm speaking about it. Like when I see that, like even if you don't have that consciousness, right? And I'm not saying that, and I don't want people to think that I'm saying that at least if you're not, if you don't care about to show that you care about your people, you have to be part of a Democratic Party. You know what I mean? But like, but you have to show that the most important, right? You have to show that you with your people and you support them. You know what I mean? It's not about not having access to power to all cost. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm trying to go with it.
So I guess we having this conversation, and if you could show the question again, right? What is a hero for African people? The case for him. I think for context, one of the things that we brought up, and we had this conversation offline, was that certain people who had values, right? Certain values that we thought we shared with them, they just had all, you know what I'm saying, the position they took when he passed. I mean, it's your right, it's your will, do what you make. It was confusing, right?
Yeah.
Because when we look at this person politically, right?
Yeah.
Where was the interest of African people, right?
None.
Most of the people
absolutely.
who talk about they love Black people, right?
Yeah.
We can agree that to outside of the continent, Africa, Haiti is like the Haiti is where it's at. Like Haiti is our, you know what I'm saying? That's the point. And you have somebody that was involved in destroying Haiti. That alone is like, it's confusion. Like I don't get it. Like I don't do what you want. Like I'm not here to talk about nothing. I don't know nothing about his personal life. I'm just talking about who he is politically and how I understand myself politically.
Yeah, I didn't know about his involvement with Haiti.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be if I'm not mistaken. So don't, you know what I'm saying? But I think everybody is just involved in trying to fuck Haiti up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, just in just thinking about just like the whole military position. And I mean, I don't know.
My question is like, being, I mean, that's kind of like, I'm gonna throw this, like, first of all, like when you look like, is like an African being in the American army anti-African or some sort? It's being part of the army, because that's kind of my story. At some point I almost joined the army because I wanted like the citizenship, you know what I mean? I'm saying out there, so immigration don't come get me. I did the right thing. So like for a minute, like I thought about going to the army because you know what, I wanted to have the citizenship, right? But like my friend sat me down and he told me about the massacre of Tiroy during the World War II, showing us like how African people were sent to the war and to fight the German and to protect the French Empire, the British Empire. And when they came back home, they got shot for claiming the money. So
I guess this is what I'm saying.
yeah,
We're talking, all right, let's strictly talk about the United States.
okay.
It is important to understand who you are politically here in the United States, right? And there's a certain understanding that you have as an African here in the United States politically, what that means, whatever. You think he fall in line with that? You think he fall in line in that enough that you gotta say something? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. People who made it known what their position is politically, how they understand themselves here. I don't understand why they had to comment on him. I don't. I don't. You should have just took that L and just left it. You know what I'm saying? Because now my issue is still not with him. You know what I'm saying? My issue now is, all right, based on what I know, values that I have, ideologies that I follow. Now you coming into question. I'm confused, dog. Like, what you really about? What you really about? You understand what I'm saying? So we just gonna name everybody like heroes. Heroes for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we really gonna get down to the question, what exactly did he do that warrants anybody who cares about the advancement of African people, not just here in the United States, but particularly here in the United States?
He got us Obama in the office.
What? You know what, Shanita, I'm about to shut this down. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Go ahead.
What you just said should have been part of the bullshit segment.
That's what the people want me to do. Go ahead.
I'll talk to you later. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah. I'm sorry, Tristan. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. No, finish your thing, baby.
No, I'm just saying, like, I understand we not perfect people, but it's just some things, honestly, we should not be budging on. Like, for real, we shouldn't be commenting on. Like, we need to be clear about certain things, man, for real. Like, and like, I'm to the point where I'm just like, like, I really don't know, but like, I don't want to get worked up about old boy, you know what I'm saying? But like, in life, when he was around, like, come on, like, y'all wasn't even hyped like this. And for those people who even had an opinion, for the ones that I seen, they wasn't even part of the same political party. You know what I'm saying? So like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing?
Tristan, you want to put a few comments there?
Well, the only thing I'll say, I'll take an angle on this that, well, two things. I'll say one factoid thing and then an analytical thingy. One, and this kind of goes to Sister LB's point. Colin Powell was part of the white supremacist initiative in the United States to invade Grenada and mess up Maurice Bishop. So that's really the short and long end of it. That really tells you all you need to know. Just like Barack Obama and his involvement with his administration's attack on Somalia.
Not the ER though, Tristan. You put the ER at the end.
Obama. That's what he is. But the only thing I would add, this whole, and I know I've talked about it on a previous episode we had last season, but and I use this term, and I'm very serious when I use the term, though sometimes I think, depending on who I'm talking to, it might sound sensationalist, but there's a reason why I refer to Barack Obama as a mulatto overseer. There's a reason I refer to Colin Powell as a mulatto overseer. There's a reason why I use those terms, right? Because we got to think about, because this goes back to our episode last week, right? Or last time, not last week, but previous episode, why African people should not be having sex with non-African people. Colin Powell, Barack Obama. That's it. That's all I'm saying. If you don't believe me, watch Halle Jarima Sankofa. It's on Netflix. Watch it and look at the character Joe. That's what I'm gonna say. I just want to say, because I think, though, that, and I know sometimes it can be a sensitive topic, but I think in situations like this is where the mulatto aspect, you can't understand, because look at the people, like, look, the first quote unquote black president, mulatto, right? The first Secretary of Defense, mulatto. When you go to the Caribbean, funny, we brought up Haiti, the mulatto class. Like, I think we have to start employing that language a lot more when describing certain characters. I think it's really politically and socially relevant. It might not, we might not agree on how we do it or whatever, but that has to be on the table. Like, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Not that I take them seriously, but this just kind of reflects my point. When I remember when I would see ADOS people whining, thank goodness I mute and block people. That's a lot of good health exercise to do. I remember being puzzled, and you know how you can tell they have like plantation nationalism, or I know Brother Onwale has a term. It's just like escaping me right now, or a white flag identity. I hope I'm saying it right, but one of the things that signaled that to me is they focused on Barack Obama's father being Kenyan, not the fact that he has a whole white parent. Or Kamala Harris having a Jamaican father potentially, but not the fact that she's, multiracial. Like, none of that pattern doesn't come out. That's a sign of, the white flag thing. And I think we have to be very clear about what we mean when we say African. And I think that becomes very important. And I think we have to also be clear about what are the potential spectrum of political implications of African people engaging in out of race or black exit sex. I think that's really important.
Whew, that was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm neither here nor there on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? When
I learned he was Jamaican descent, right? I really thought about also Obama, and it's like something what Tristan say is like I also have like the feeling. I mean, it's maybe my ignorance or something, but like one of the question is like the token black man that the white supremacy power usually uses, like somebody who's not like that's what like like when the argument of ADOS, or just taking care of your own African people were enslaved here.
I mean, I wouldn't dismiss it. You know?
Yeah, like it's like they always go and trying to take like African people who are not clearly rooted here, and trying to pin them against like African people who are here. You know what I mean? And that's something that I also see in like in Colin Powell. Like I don't know if he really had a tie with African American here, where like he felt like he had to be committed to them. And
you said you don't really know.
I don't feel like it. Like I don't feel like it. I feel like he was also one of the flaws and problems that surround kind of the history. Because like what I'm interested, like something I like to also look is like I look at the history. I don't look at people individually. Like what have you done? Like what do you leave as a legacy? You know what I mean? And I don't.
I was gonna say, I think actually that is a conversation we need to have, right?
Yeah.
I think the question, what is a hero for African people, that really is what we need to explore.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people based on a lot of different things. They got all these like, listen, if it ain't moving us forward, you know what I'm saying? We don't need to spend no time talking about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, old boy passed away, and I can't even say I spent too much time talking about it. I didn't. It was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was it for me. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because that was it.
So to close the conversation, if I may ask here, like, what should be a few like, what should we tell the children or people? What should be the main characteristic of the African hero? What should we tell them? Like, from your perspective?
Well, they wasn't killing African people for the sake of working for non-African people. Let's start with that. Let's start with that. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's a lot of different things we could say. I don't know. Nope. I was gonna say something, but you know what? I'm gonna remain politically correct. So Shanuti, I pass. I was gonna say something, but it was gonna be. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna
Tristan,
do it.
Helby has the one is worst.
Yeah, I'm biting
All
my
right.
tongue actually.
Okay. Okay. All right. For me, I think the question is an ideological one,
Hmm.
more so than that. So I think I really love, one of the most clarifying things. I always tell them this all the time. Probably gets tired of me saying it. When Brother Omawale said I know in a lecture he gave about radical integrationist, that
Hmm.
clarified a lot of confusion I had politically. And so
Right.
what I started thinking about was, you can tell someone's orientation by the things they value, right?
Hmm.
So are they an assimilationist, an integrationist? What kind of integrationist? A reform integrationist or a radical integrationist? And of course, we have those of us in the nationalist spectrum of things.
Hmm.
So I look at it from that way. I don't think necessarily a radical integrationist can't necessarily be a hero, maybe. I might just disagree with them, but I might respect them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If that makes sense. Now, I
Hmm.
don't see Colin Powell as a
What's an
radical.
example of a radical integrationist?
I
I'm
would
a,
say the Black Panther Party would be a radical integrationist
okay.
movement, particularly when you look at like a Huey P. Newton. People who they're able to critique racism, right? And they see the problem as systematic, but African sovereignty is not what they're thinking about. They're more
Oh,
caught up in a radical humanism type thing.
Hmm.
So their ultimate thing is, we need to be human, not we need to be sovereign as African people. I think
Gotcha.
that's a very important slight distinction, but has huge ramifications. And then assimilationist, I think we know kind of what that is.
yeah.
I think Powell is more in between the reform integrationist type, that will do the protests, whatever, and the assimilationist. He kind of floats between that. And generally, those people are, I usually just don't consider them heroes.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
It could be that they're, malicious people, or they're just wrong and misguided. But either way, they're not someone I would consider as heroes
Yeah.
from that context in any capacity. It's not even a debatable point for me.
Humwale say my new name is the clarifier.
Well,
Now,
actually, I mean, Tristan is right though. That I think that particular lecture was part of his oh, why can't
I
I
know he's
ever
doing Black
remember?
nationalism streams of consciousness, like two ideological streams. I feel like it's like
Yeah, I
that.
think it was part of his I think it was part of his oh God, I forget, but yeah, I that was clarifying. So shout out to Brother Umawale for
Integration with an
clarifying
attitude.
stuff.
Oh, he's in the chat. Okay, yeah, integration with
he's in the
attitude.
chat.
I'm gonna teach that
Umwale
one.
is over there having fun with the chat. Peace,
Yeah.
brother Umwale. Hope you're doing well, bro.
So, and
Um,
I think to end this conversation, like to end this topic, we
mhm.
really have to think about like the key word, and that's been my key word is like values, right? You know what I'm saying? We got to link up with people with
Yeah.
similar values, and a lot of this stuff and these questions I think can be answered
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and the point of this is let's find our real heroes and let's prop them up.
Yeah.
Stop being distracted by what's not important to us and that's not moving us forward. And let's really pinpoint and highlight and big up
Yeah.
our heroes, right?
Yeah.
And give like really, really clear examples on why they're a hero, right?
You
Because
know that movie that you say you like and I don't like, but you say you really like.
I didn't say, wait, first of
There's this
all,
one line that
stop
they say in the
adding
movie,
extra.
like
You
when
know
he
what?
was
You
at the
like,
restaurant or something. He said to no, the girl said to the guy,
why
"What?
you
No,
always
the
bringing
guy."
family business on the podcast though? Like me and you be having like family
No, I
talks.
didn't say
Like
the
why you?
movie. I didn't say the movie. I just said there's the movie
Okay.
that you like that I don't like, and
But I'm saying, like, you could just point the movie out. You ain't gotta add like who, like what, when, where. You know what I'm
because I
saying?
don't want
Like,
to talk
just go
about the
ahead.
movie. I don't want people to go watch the movie.
Okay.
I want
All
people
right.
to watch better movie. And in
Okay.
one line that it says that why do black people always have to be excellent? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I talk about, like, I think sometimes we, when they say like he was the first general, the first black general, he was the first this, or he achieved so much. I think people get caught into that a lot too. They don't see beyond that. It's always that
That's
superficial.
because those people who make those comments don't know about folks, Africans that's already like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
somebody who says that, somebody who don't know. And it also depends on what lens you looking out of. You understand what I'm saying? If they framing your narrative, it's always gonna be you the first this, you the first that, because you trying to be adjacent to them. No, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no time on my dinner table we talking about, oh, we gotta uh always be excellent.
But
Fuck.
yeah, but it's something that mislead a lot of people when we talk about heroism. Like, it's always about the first black who went to, like, the first black astronaut, the first black this, and black excellency. I don't know. I don't want to go off tangent, but for me, that's what Colin Powell represents. Really, that's why people see him as a hero, because he achieved something. Uh, uh,
See, you
in
can't.
he,
What
he had like he just had like a high position, one of the highest position you can have in the country, in the most powerful country in the world, like they call. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And that, I mean, in simple terms, for me, that's what it is. You know what I mean? And
Does
this is
that
the
make
thing
him
that
a
people have
hero?
to, yeah. And for me, when I answer the question, like, it's like you said, I think one of the first questions, I don't know if it's you or Tristan, I have a golden fish memory, but one of you say that, what have you done for your people? You know what I mean? And sometimes, like, I feel like it's only history that can tell you. You know what I mean? People who are closer to you can see what you're doing for your people. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Now that he passed, we can review what he has accomplished and done during his lifetime. And, like, for me, it's like his resume is very, very, very small. He didn't really serve his people. You know what I mean?
He
He just
zero, zero,
zero. So
zero.
for me, I'm sorry. Yeah, we respect the dead, but
He
you could have
killed the
done better.
hero. He killed the
Yeah.
hero in Grenada. Done. We
Mhm.
done. He killed
Yeah.
the African hero in Grenada. We done.
Yeah.
It's done. Like
History is
again,
bad.
it's
Bad.
done. You want to look?
Done.
It's done. Ain't
Done.
nothing more
Done.
to
Done.
be said. It's done. He
No
killed the
more.
hero. So
All
we
right.
good.
All right. So announcements. So what do we have again? Like, so remember, Elmi, you the one who did that. Okay, go ahead. What do you want to tell
So
them?
I mean, again, follow us on social media, um, Twitter, IG, Facebook. We have our website, www. Well, I don't have to say the www. That's kind of whack, but because everybody know. But aiphilly.org. Also, we accept donations. We like donations. We appreciate donations. Cash App, $ AI Philly. Like, share, subscribe. Where we at. Follow us. We have some things coming up. So if you subscribe to like our newsletter, check out our website. Like, we're growing, we learning, obviously.
Yeah.
So we just want y'all to just join the ride with us. Stay on the ride with us. Yeah. Check us
Yeah.
out. And the podcast is every other Friday at 8.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Lock in, tune in. On YouTube, it'll tell you set your reminder, subscribe. So if you subscribe to us on YouTube, your reminder should already be set when you see it, like so you don't miss it. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get better with time. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully our family will be able to join us as we go along, but they out here making power moves, so I can't even get mad at them.
Yeah, you know you were born to do this,
You,
right? You have the
you know,
voice, you have the attitude. Act like
you know, I'll be trying to reserve it. You know, I can't let everybody know. I appreciate you.
You have it like, hey, you know.
I appreciate you.
I'm just saying. I was like, oh my God, she's natural. All right. All right. Let's end this in a so better note with the topic happening in Netherlands. Descendant of enslaved African in Netherlands changed slavery. Actually, is from an article from I think I've seen Tristan brought it up. I've seen an article. The article come from it's a BBC News article.
BBC. I thought it was the Guardian. Okay,
yeah.
BBC.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So the title is Abby at front of queue to change my slave name. So basically, what they say. I don't want to read everything, but you can go and read it. Say, okay, that's the way what a church council has decided to remove 835 euros cost of bureaucracy to help people shake off their slave name and have opinion to adopt one that recognizes the African ancestry. So I've summarized because under existing Dutch rule, if you have a surname considered ridiculous, such as anus, garlic, so. That's terrible. Anyway, you see the like it's terrible. So, anyway, but happy to hear.
Let me ask you, Shanuti, because I didn't read the article. Maybe you and Tristan can enlighten me on a topic. So these people are deciding to change their names because the Netherlands Dutch government said that they can, or like what's compelling them? Like
they dropped the fees.
They removed it.
Oh, sorry, you were speaking.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They removed the fees to change the names, or particularly slave names, or I guess I'm not understanding.
That's correct. Okay. So names that are connected to the Netherlands is colonial terroristic legacy.
Because they don't want to pay anybody. That's why. They don't want nobody to tie their name to cutting no damn check. That's what that is.
So you're saying it's a cheap reparations?
No,
I'm being facetious, but
I'm about to say
I'll play around with you.
I think I'm a little annoyed with us if I understand like why you didn't want to change it before.
Like, no, but I guess my understanding is that it costs a lot of money to change your name, and many of them have ridiculous name and they want to pay for it. I mean, it seems like
it costs like a house. It costs the price of a house or a car to change your name.
Well, 875. I guess over there it's a lot of money. I never live in the Netherlands. I don't know how. What's the?
Oh no, I'm asking because I'm like,
I guess a lot of people didn't want to pay for it.
Okay.
They'd rather ride with it, and they had ridiculous name. I didn't want to do it. And actually, as soon as I read the article, I kind of typed, how much does it cost to change your name here in Pennsylvania?
How much it costs?
It says, I think it says it costs between $250 and $600 to change your name in Pennsylvania.
Why such a well, anyway, back to the
because I think they consider like changing your driver license and all those things. I guess that's what it is.
So what are the Africans saying? Like the African people over there saying they're gonna do it or not?
Yeah, there's hundreds that have expressed interest in changing their names, which to me, and I think when we were sharing and discussing, I think that's what I found beautiful about it. Is that watching how African people respond to it. And I think that's the positive aspect, that there are African people who are like, okay, this is something we can is it a build on or a get by, but it's definitely a build on move, because that's part of I think African name reclamation I think is important.
I think it's kind of shady that you know, like your name is Ass. You didn't choose to be called Ass, and like you have to pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Shanuti,
Right.
don't. That's not funny.
I mean,
But in all
it's true.
seriousness,
Like think about it. I think like so for some people it was that, but like I think that there's some people who are really like, you know, like heck, like I'll pay whatever it costs. I'm not gonna wait for them to drop the price. I'll have to
right,
do it.
right.
But you know,
But in all seriousness, just to say something real quick. So that's the beauty of one of the things that we do here at AI Philly. We have a what we call the Dina ceremony. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying, where you can change your name. So that's why you want to go ahead and be a member of AI. Like
Yeah,
we
we
just
have a date
fly.
actually November 14th. That's when it's
November
happening.
14th, we're slated. So if you signed up to our newsletter, and signed up to us on social media, you'll know. So yeah, that's one of the beautiful things as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, um, you get to choose your name, or get a name according to whatever. But I don't let me not say whatever. But the Dina ceremony, that's a beautiful aspect of AI Philly. So you know what I'm saying, plug in with us, and you know what I'm saying, get your name changed. You ain't even gotta wait for the government. Do that shit yourself.
Yeah, just take that name. And I
Yeah, just
agree.
be
So
African.
yeah, as much as it's important to, and it's something during the dinner ceremony, the Pirat say is like those names that you take, you know what I mean? You have to take them seriously, you know what I mean? And
So yeah, we'll we can we're gonna work out the details, and we'll let everybody
yeah,
know definitively, like what I'm saying. But it's the 13th or the 14th. I don't want to misspeak. But yeah, so we'll let everyone know. But as far as the name change now,
yeah.
are they going to give them like a stipend to change it, or like it's they have to
Give it,
do that themselves? Because I what I would say is, if there's that collective interest, this is where that community mentality needs to come in, right? So if you have like a whole bunch of African people saying, yeah, we want to change our name, then this is where we got to get strategic, start putting a plan together. All right,
yeah,
well, how many of y'all want to change our name? What's the cost? What's the steps? We're going to do this together, right? This is a united front. And like Tristan said, this is a good look. You know what I'm saying? So if African people know that they'll get support, you know what I'm saying, then it'll jog interest,
yeah,
hopefully. You know what I'm saying? If that's the way we have to do it to get people to be interested in being African,
yeah,
then you know what I'm saying, we should think of, I hope the brothers and sisters are getting help, or at least thinking strategically and
yeah,
community wise, to say, all right, there's a couple hundred of us, you know what I'm saying, from different, we working people. Let's pull our money together, and let's get
yeah,
this going. Let's do this
yeah,
in one shot. You know what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be. So I hope that that's, you know what I'm saying, they're thinking like that, and that the people can get their name changed.
yeah. Chris,
It's important. I'll just say that, and I think it's a beautiful thing that our organization is able to do. That you get, name African name reclamation,
Mm-hmm.
by your community, by a community of people who have the same values as you. So it gives it
Agreed.
potency and meaning, as opposed to you naming yourself.
yeah,
Right. Agreed. That's what I'm saying. Like
I think that's
I
very important.
yeah, I hope like there's somebody there who's like enlightened, and who can just take this to another level, right? Because
yeah.
it's
It's an
like
opportunity.
it's a serious thing when you name yourself, right? According to like what Tristan said, your values, what you believe in, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's a serious thing, and I really hope, again, that it ignites some sort of community spirit. You know what I'm saying? In the people, to because we doing a lot of this work alone, and that shit is heavy. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's, when we do it together, we get further. So I hope it really ignites that. You know what I'm saying? So good luck to them. I hope, what I'm saying, more people, you know what I'm saying, change their names. Come to
Yeah,
AI Philly, get your name changed.
make the name change. You
Join
know
the
what I mean?
organization.
Yeah, and it's good for them. I'm happy because yeah, like whenever you change your name, but like when you go to work, I mean here I'm taking the case here. Like you change your name, and but when you go to work, they still call you with a name that you don't want to be called. And I think it's a good thing for them, like to actually
Agreed.
be able to do it for free with no charge, whether they can go. And this is an opportunity, like you said. You know what I mean? They should not take it lightly.
Right.
We just I hope that none of them gonna be like, oh yeah, like some of the Negropean, like Tristan say, will go and choose like
Or
just like
they gonna
a
always be,
yeah, they're always gonna be some of them who just like, oh, let me
and
get
that's
like a nice little Dutch name or something. I think in Netherlands, I think, yeah.
but I think important. But I think what you're saying though is important, right? So it's important. Don't get distracted by them. If
Don't get
that's what they want to
distracted.
do, leave them alone. Like, so what? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like that's what they want to do. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Don't waste no time on them. You know what I'm saying? Get
Right.
with people who you and them is in line. At least you know what I'm saying in that respect. So you know what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious if there's anything else politically or economically tied to this announcement by the Dutch government. Like I'm
Um,
just what for them what undergirds this
I mean, we
announcement
probably
that they
have to
felt.
look who kind of went ahead for initiate that change. Was it did it come from the government?
That's
Did
what
it
I'm
come from the
saying.
community?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is. I don't know that. I don't have the answer, but it's something that we can all go and research and find out. If it
I'll
comes
be
from the
curious.
community, that's more interesting. You know what I mean? But if it's just like the government to just uh, decide to do it for some political, for elections, for some political,
Hmm.
that's why it's usually dangerous. I don't like when sometimes this government, um, um, when this government, like they just take an opportunity when the election are getting closer or for whatever reason, or just to, I mean, just to calm down the people when it comes. I mean, we like all the racism and that happening around the world when they use those opportunity to just give us like something little, but and behind like we're not able to really get the full benefit of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
so
know
that's
for
kind
me,
of
like trying to find a name, I've been trying to do that for years just because like, you don't want to go around and you got a Yoruba name and an Igbo name, and then you do your ancestry and you find out you're not neither
I
one of them. Like it's really complicated, right? Like it's a process, right? Because you want to make
you
sure that
you
is
from Gabon. I
meaning.
mean, like, I'm not gonna say you from Gabon, but you from like you're already part of my group of people back home. So like I'll give you a Mien name.
Okay.
So I got you with
I
the name. Don't
I
worry.
feel I feel in my heart like I feel like I'm like
You from
Angolan
over
or
there.
I feel
You
yeah,
from
I
where
feel
I'm
like
from.
you think I'm from Gabon? I feel
You
like
from
I'm
yeah,
like
yeah, definitely.
Angola or Congo. Like you know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. But you
Definitely.
know.
And we're going and you see yourself. All right. Anyway, we've been here for an hour and 7 minutes. Um, we had a great time. It was a
Always.
very important discussion. I hope that you like it. You can like, share our video, do whatever. Um, tell us what you think. Give us some feedback. Don't forget anything. You can all. I mean, don't forget you can donate to our organization AI Philly. Let me share the cash app again with you, just in case. Um, you can donate to support us. You can
And not only
also
and your support could also come with being a member. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly,
we do appreciate that aspect as well. So, the more the merrier.
yeah. Don't just bring the money. Yeah, bring. You can come, and we need people to we need people like to help us continue to build our organization, which goal is to liberate African people. So you know, don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
join.
And
Um,
you know what I'm saying? And just be happy to be African. It's a beautiful
yeah.
thing, man. Contrary to what they say, you know what I'm saying? And join an organization that's willing to do the work. So, yeah.
Yeah. Any last word? I don't like last word. Any word to close it? Maybe Tristan.
I said this was a great discussion. Um, and I'll say that I think we touched on some really important things, but again, you cannot do anything without looking to your culture to tell you what to do. We see this in this issue of defining a hero when we're not on our cultural basis and on somebody else's. We confuse a mulatto overseer for being an African hero. That's the danger of such thinking. And then coming into naming, right? Naming is a critical step. Name reclamation, I should say, is a critical step in restoring your Africanness.
Absolutely.
Because names embody values and culture. So just that important part of why culture is important, because I think sometimes, given our conditions, we're all, in that process of de-whitenization, re-Africanization. A part of it is getting out of the idea of culture as being exclusively in the domain of the ornamentary, like food and clothes. Those are important. I'm not right. That's important. But, the larger implications of culture. So I think naming is a very powerful reminder, especially since, I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Hua in Batum.
He made a really good point. Yeah.
Say, you can see his comment. The reparation movement will be a business to rebuild sovereign Maroon community and reorganize Africa into superstores, breaking down colonial state structure and identities. The European government should not be allowed to lead any reparation process, including naming. That's right.
I
It
agree.
should be our initiative.
That's what I'm saying.
Connect with King and Village of Africa, and we'll get what is our due. Black imperial system, Ashimash. I have some about. We need to talk about some of this king in Africa, though. I saw some Chinese becoming king in Ghana. I don't know what that is about.
We're about to end the show, and I don't want to end it with my pressure going up.
But
I don't want to end it with my pressure. So let's, just.
But we definitely need a connection with the continent. But we at some point we need to address this. We need to address this problem. Let's hand it on a good note.
But another important point to end, though, we do have chapters on a continent. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
it's just not a Philly thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Afrocentricity international, right? It's a global thing. And you know what I'm saying? The name says it all. So link up with us. But I would second what Tristan said. And I would just sum it up by saying whatever African problems we have, we definitely have, we can find an African solution. You know what I'm saying? It's important that we start looking through that lens. We start being that, right? You know what I'm saying? The start being that essence and start just solving our problems the African way, and just work through that. Yeah. So,
right.
Peace and love to everybody.
Peace and love. Thank you again for tuning in, and we see you in 2 weeks.
All right,
Unity is our aim.
Shemotet. Victory is our destiny.
All right. Ashe.
Okay.
I think what we are suffering from is ideological confusion. That is, that we're not clear, we're not thinking clearly, and that we need a context within which to answer the question, is something good or bad? We assume that we have the same goals, but we never say what they are. It's time for us to think and articulate and establish our goals as Black nationalists and Pan-Africanists. We need vision, we need clarity. Otherwise, we can't answer the question, is it good for African people? Nationalist goal is self-determination. In the spirit of Delaney, Garvey, Malcolm, Amos, it is Pan-African commitment, that is the unity of African people worldwide and one Africa on the continent as a basis for African strength. So we are about building a Pan-African world order based on the principles of Ma'at, not in imitation of a European order. Ma'at as justice and truth. We need a nation concept, as Dr. Clark told us. A Black economic program, a cultural program, an independent political organization, independent Black media, independent African-centered education financed by us and controlled by us. All of this presupposes, very importantly, an African Black identity.